the global network of satanic ritual abuse. It is everywhere. Hell does a lot of evil things, but I want you to remember this. Heaven has never been intimidated by hell's best work. And so there's a lot of wonderful ministries that are happening here and there. What we are focused on at the Peace of Heaven is to provide a unique experience that becomes a showcase throughout the world. We believe that Jesus was serious when he said to his disciples, pray that the kingdom of heaven will be established in the earth so that the will of God can be accomplished in the earth in the same way it's accomplished in the heavens. That is what we call the Lord's Prayer. That's what they said, what should we pray about? He said, glad you asked. Pray this. And we're serious about it, and so that's why we've called it Peace of Heaven, a children's paradise. And we want it to be a little taste of heaven for children who have had a big taste of hell.
I know this church. We've been here as senior pastors for 39 years. And this church, years ago, maybe 30 years ago, we took 175 babies out of the prison system, women that were having babies in the system. We took the babies, raised them in families, and then brought the mamas in. So we've been doing this Save the Children thing for a very, very long time. And really kind of before it was a popular thing to do. And God set us up. We didn't intend to go out and do it. We had a motto, find a need and meet it, find a hurt and heal it. And then God would bring someone and say, I want you to take her into your home. Well, he set us up. Truthfully, we would never have done it if we knew what we were doing. That's the truth.
Because once we get these kids in here, we have to take care of them for a long time.
Well, if you know where all the brothels are, and you're a federal marshal, then our government knows where all the brothels are. Yes? Why are they there? He says, it's complicated, Dr. Frank. What do you mean it's complicated? Well, let's say we want to shut down this brothel that has 20 girls in it, right? Well, the problem is if when the indentured servants come up here, the deal is all 4 of them have to stay consistent with the deal. The $30,000 debt has to be paid off. If any of the 4 leave the deal, all 4 of them are slaughtered. That's how they maintain. That's the discipline that they maintain. He says if we were to go rescue those 20 girls, we can't just rescue them. We have to rescue all 80 and relocate all 80. So that's the first complicating thing. He says the second complicating thing is that the law enforcement are customers. And he says if we bring it to trial, some of the judges are customers. And I say, well, wait a minute. And he goes right up the line and he starts explaining each level of our government, the protective services, all up the chain, all the way up to the legislative level in the state. And that was an eye-opener for me. It was a shocking thing. And it's one of the reasons why our elections are messed up, because these people are controlled.
And it was exciting. So later in life, I was put in situations, as many people know a story because it has millions and millions of views. I was placed in a mansion, and it turns out that that was a mansion that they were using for trafficking. And Bill Clinton, P. Diddy, and a guy named Ron Burkle, which I am going to expose, and everybody's afraid of this guy, but I'm going to attach a set right now and just tell you that this guy at this Beverly Hills mansion weaseled his way into Hollywood for a reason. And I really believe that he is the financer of P. Diddy. It turns out he has tunnels under his home in Beverly Hills. I've seen it. I've been in the tunnels, didn't know what they were in '93 when I was in it, right? I was naive. But now I know exactly what they're for. He had Bill Clinton at his house while Bill Clinton was president. They trafficked kids. When you think Bill Clinton was at Martha's Vineyard, he was in there, and they were trafficking kids and having sex with teenagers for about a week to a week and a half at a time every single year.
when we have been blessed with the answers within us all along? We need to turn to that and remember who we are, because it's up to each and every one of us to wake up and start taking responsibility for our lives so that we can effectively stop their funding mechanism of child sex trafficking. It's about time that this happened. I have been speaking out for over 35 years on MK Ultra, mind control, and healing from it. And I'll keep speaking out until this is stopped. What we're seeing these days isn't new. What's new is that we're finally seeing it. And I'm so thrilled to get to be a part of solutions during these times. I was trafficked as a child. This has been going on my whole life.
But the reality is they want, like Cathy was saying, they want to control every mountain of influence. The church, government, religion, everything, our food. And it's a plan that's been put in place tons years beforehand.
I want to encourage you to take back your rightful place as citizens and be ready to follow in the footsteps of your founding fathers and get back into your communities and take over your communities so that you can say that no harm will come to any children in my community.
And this is somebody for this victim to talk to, because guess what? She's not going to talk to somebody that's a rescuer. She's not going to talk to somebody that's a social worker or a cop or even a pastor. She's only going to talk to someone who she feels safe talking to.
This is what this court did. This is what these people were involved with in our highest levels of government. I want you to know, I then went to Washington, D.C. myself in 2013 and successfully fought to open an international kidnapping and child sex trafficking case with the Bureau of State inside the State Department of Children's Issues. Yeah, we were fighting some clown circus, three-letter agencies and children's matters too, I will have you know. I just didn't know Brian Podesta was sitting in that seat at that time with Laura Silsby, by the way, I want you all to know.
We had a judge on our case who lit up his attorney and said, "You have dragged this family through the mud for 2.5 years. This young man was home from college this summer. We could have gone to court this summer. Now we got to bring him back from school in October for trial," and reamed them. And his attorney actually said he had a prepaid vacation the week before, and he said, I don't think I'll be ready to go because we're coming back that Sunday. He's like, "You've had 2.5 years to get ready. We're going to court on Monday." So.
Pure, precious, sacred, new life. Straight from the Father's Ruach, from the throne. A precious new one. The enemy wants it, that new one. Now do you see why? Even if still in the womb, if possible, they want to eradicate that life. Ugly, ugly, but who else is going to stand up if we don't? For the little ones. Ritual child abuse is nothing new. Again, the fallen have been at this throughout human history. Many, many different cultures have fallen because they have brought their children through the fire to Baal and Moloch, whoever else, to the fallen, for wealth and power, and God struck them down. The Israelites did it again and again. Read through the Old Testament, you can't miss that. It's like, man, that's like a broken record.
When it was said that we had the world's largest trafficking in our own government, that wasn't a figure of speech. I saw it with my own eyes. We got it on video. What even got it worse is the level of corruption. And that level of corruption even went to the church. We did a video of an NGO where right on camera they were bragging how they were taking money from the federal government, wiring them money, and then transferring these humans, well, mostly these kids, all over the country.
But one thing's for sure, God said he made us in his image. Okay? Whether that looked like in the flesh or looked like your soul itself. But man, I'm going to tell you, to live in that spirit world and being filled with the Holy Spirit, being able to reach out and touch somebody else that has the same. See, our communications have been broke down. If we all connect by the love of God, that pure love, when you get out of the morning and you step on the ground and you say, I want to look as though I'm looking through God's eyes and I want to love everything. When you connect that way and you wholeheartedly put everything into it and we're connected, I can figure out what my sister's wrong with her. I can call her on the phone and say, sis, I'm sensing something. What's wrong with you? How many people there?
So for those of you who have seen my testimony with Lara Logan, I've been on the public forum sharing my testimony for many years, since 2008.
When we caught these groups, we turned them over to the Fleet C detention centers, and we thought we saved them. And of course, the cartel guys that were posing as their tios or the tias, we thought they were aunts and uncles. Oh, we're just trying to get them their mom and dad. Well, that was a lie. That's not where the kids were going. This was 20 years ago what we were seeing is human trafficking. So I went to Hollywood thinking I was going to make a bunch of movies, and the first movie I made on the border got me blacklisted in Hollywood. People I knew for 20 years wouldn't return my phone calls. ACLU tried to make my wife and I look like racists, and it was just insane how everything was upside down.
We're at the crossroads, and those crossroads are this. Are you going to be silent? How many people have seen Eyes Wide Shut? Okay, it's about the Illuminati and everything else. That exists.
You can put a spell on one person, it's called spell casting, but when you put a spell on everyone, it's called broadcasting. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Next slide. All right, next slide. Okay, remember all this? Do you remember the coming ice age? Remember being terrified of the coming ice age? This is how they've done it, right? The world will end. This is insanity. Insanity. I don't want you to ever be afraid of any of that anymore. Next slide. Sea level, 1898. Sea level, 2022. So much for, you remember they were telling everyone the sea levels are going to rise, the cities will be sunk. Why are the billionaires the ones with the mansions along the coast of Maine? Next slide.
God has squished me in the middle of Big Tom Holman and Derek Maltz, the warriors fighting for our freedom. And I remember this moment, and the audience gathered around, and people were listening intently. And all I knew, the Spirit of God was like, these are the warriors. These are the ones who have been hamstrung. And they need to be set free to set the children free.
All of these things like OnlyFans, where you can show your toes and someone with a toe fetish can pay to subscribe to you or whatever, these are all training ground for all of this. They're teaching they're teaching your kids all bad things. Number one, how not to work, right? Because now you're not earning a living through hard work and understanding, the fruits of your labor and so on. No, it's a shortcut. We all know shortcuts are not good, right? How many times did you try to take a shortcut and it was the worst decision you ever made? Shortcuts usually don't work. They don't work. You can shortcut your way to the top and everybody knows you're fake. So why do I not care what they say about me? Because I've done just about every job in journalism. I was a radio reporter, a print reporter. I know how to edit. I did sound if I had to. You know what I mean? I crawled to the bedroom at night, crippled by my injuries from Egypt, and worked myself into a coma, wrote my own stories, produced. There's no shortcuts. Why someone else looks at it and says, like, I want to be like her. I want her career. But they don't want to do they want to take shortcuts. They want to jump from college to being famous. It doesn't work that way, sweetheart. Sorry. You're going to have to put in a little hard work. Something very old-fashioned. It's called hard work. No, they don't teach our kids that anymore. There's no value left in hard work. No, it's you can make a fortune by selling yourself. Selling yourself, some part of yourself, which is another step to selling your soul.
That's why it's so important for us to really work hard to, one, listen to the victims and the survivors and the overcomers, okay, who have been through, and there's a lot of them, you guys. There's a lot of them. It's one of the reasons that I said to my brother that I wanted to do this project, Defend and Protect Our Children. And it's because of Pastor Dave is the reason that I wanted to do this and what he's doing with Piece of Heaven. What Pastor Dave is doing is creating a piece of heaven for children that have nobody, that have no way of understanding what love is. There's no love in their hearts. They have been cold. They have been shut down. They have been darkened. They have been taken by the dark spirits and turned and twisted. And we have to fix them. We have to have places like Piece of Heaven to do this. And I'm going to tell you something. This couple is probably the couple. I mean, I came here and joined here. I mean, I didn't have a place to go, but I came here, and I tell you something. What they do is very, very, very special. It's very unique.
And the communists had told the children, you tell us when your parents do that, and you'll get a king's feast. And so the kids, 3, 5, 8 years old, would rat out the parents, much to the parents' dismay, who were typically executed. Why? Why were the communists doing this? They weren't looking to create a group of third-grade tattletales. That was not their ulterior motive. They were looking to drive a wedge of distrust between the parent and the child, and again, gut or eviscerate that nuclear family unit. That is what they were looking to do. And again, they're doing the same thing today. I mean, when you're 12 years old and you can go to school and you can get a jabber-do in the arm without telling your parent, you can get an abortion without telling your parent, you can change your gender, change your pronoun, do any darn thing you want without telling your parent, and worse, the schools of the blue states can't tell your parents for you? That is the same program 60 years later. That's all that is. Systematic destruction of the church and the family leaves invariably, regardless of era, regardless of country, invariably leaves in its wake 3 things: lack of skills, lack of courage, and lack of strength. And that, my friends, is a deadly trifecta that sets everybody up, but most especially the youth, for being preyed on by any man or predator out there, specifically, though, sexual predators.
There's not only hundreds of people here, but thousands and thousands of people listening online. And the reason they're listening is they understand there is a fight, that it is real, that the stakes are very high, and that there are evil, malevolent forces that are after the souls of our children. So for all those that are listening out there, just any last words that you would like to say to mobilize people or to motivate people to show up to the showdown and throw down?
I see so many people here in our Western nation programmed out of their awareness of spirituality, and they try to solve this like a scientist without acknowledging the Creator. If you don't look through what's going on through a spiritual lens, it will never make sense to you. You will never figure it out because it's so dysfunctional and it is broken. It is from the fallen. Once you put on your spiritual goggles and you tune into the Bible and you tune into the Father, it'll all make sense. You'll never be surprised anymore. The wicked will do things. You'll be like, of course they're going to do that. You can already predict it. So I would say, I would encourage people to research all the archaeological history and all the other way, however you have to get to learn that the Bible is real and that King Jesus is on the throne. Then get there, because once you break that code, you'll be a knower, you'll be an understander, and you'll be able to be part of the solution rather than the problem. You'll be empowered and blessed, and I think that's something that I see can happen.
Awesome.
You know, very, very, very well said, and it's so true. And I go to Mike Smith, particularly my brother, because in his movie, as he describes, the enemy in this case is extremely devout and believes in God.
Yeah.
Therefore, if he did not, his deity would not exist.
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, he doesn't want you to believe in God.
Right.
Let's do the math, guys.
Yeah.
Bring it home.
Yeah, come on, Joe. All right.
And the wicked are very dedicated to their faith. very, very dedicated to their faith. They're a lot stronger in their wickedness than a lot of us Christians are in our faith. So, hey, man, they're making full-on warfare. Shame on us if we don't step up and do that in the name of love, in the name of the Father.
Come on.
Okay, no, it's good. One small thing. So when it comes to kids that were getting out of trafficking, the number one vacancy in their life is love and belonging.
Wow.
Okay. And because I go through all the things like where's your life go wrong? Like I always tell them we're going to map your life and find out where the holes are.
Yeah.
And when we hit love and belonging, intimate relationships, that's the vacancy.
Wow.
So the enemy is out to destroy their identity from before birth. And we heard from witnesses today who described that. So let's be out to enforce their identity before birth.
Yeah.
Like you are, pray over your children.
Come on,
pray over the children that aren't born yet.
Come on.
We must instill their identity so that if they know who they are, they won't fall for the lies. They won't fall for the counterfeits.
Beautiful, Tina.
But if they feel lack, they will search for belonging and they will get a substitute.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. All right, Joe Burkett, Tina Baz, and Craig Sawyer. Listen, you're heroes to us. We love you. We're very proud of you. Let's hear it for our panel.